What is up everyone, musclebuddy here, Super Video Bros, and I have finally completed my Prophecy Dungeon guide. In this guide I will show you how to go through the Prophecy Dungeon, how to complete that, and what weapons I recommend using for this dungeon. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, share it with your friends that are wanting to know how to use the Prophecy Dungeon. If you're doing the Prophecy Dungeon, I recommend being around 1045 light, but you do want someone in your fire team that is around 1060, at least 1060, because the boss fight does get to 1060 and is rough if you do not have someone that is that light. So the first thing you're going to want to do before you even fly into the dungeon is figure out your loadout. Figure out what weapons you are going to use to maximize your efficiency and complete this dungeon the best way possible. Alright, so first let's start at the top at your primary slot. I've got those ammo bricks, but imagine it's sort of like D1 where I'm using it just for the 3 slots, so the far left is for the top, the middle's for the middle, and the right is for your bottom for your heavy weapons, right? So the first thing is your primary weapon. What primary weapon are you going to use? I recommend Witherhoard because this is the one that I use, and it is the one that I have had the most success with. You can plant it on a knight, which are probably the largest part of this dungeon. You can plant one on a knight and then run away, and the knight will just die as long as you actually got it inside of the knight. If you land it on the ground, I've noticed that it will not actually end up killing a knight, so you will need some other thing to shoot it. You can use Mountaintop for long-range targets, and also just for shooting things if you wish. The Whispering Slab combat bow can be used for long-range targets. I've seen it used the most effectively in the Wastelands and the Hexahedron encounters, which I will explain later. And then there is the False Promises auto rifle. Very good auto rifle. It does have a long range, but you can use it at shorter range as well. I like using that weapon for ad clearing because I have a subsistence swashbuckler one, but I don't use it on this dungeon. If you want to, go for it. If you want some other auto rifle, some other roll, go for it. Alright, now for your energy slot. I prefer to use the Recluse, the SMG Recluse, because it has Master of Arms and Feeding Frenzy, so I use it for clearing ads. You could use Martyr's Retribution as a decent replacement for Mountaintop if you don't have it or don't want to use it because you're using something else in that slot. And then you could also, as an ad option, you could use Nation of Beasts or Nature of Beasts hand cannons, because both of these you could get like Dragonfly, you could get Dragonfly Feeding Frenzy and use them to clear ads because the ads do tend to group up. And now for your heavy or power slot. You could use the Exotic Swords, Dark Drinker, or Bolt. Wait a minute, that's D1. Never mind, you could use the Legendary Swords, Falling Guillotine, or Temptation's Hook. I like to use Falling Guillotine a lot. It is very good for hurting things and for DPS, especially for the Phalanx Echo. In the second part, you could also use it on the final boss, depending on what supers you guys are using and what characters you are playing. You could also use the Anarchy. This is also very good for DPS. Place it on a dude and deal a bunch of damage. And then you could also just use a rocket if you wanted to. There is a mod this season, a solar mod from Season of Arrivals that makes your rockets better when hurting powerful enemies. Now, for your class or your armor, that is honestly your decision, but I do have a few suggestions. So if you're playing the Hunter, I strongly recommend Top Tree, Night Stalker, Way of the Trapper, and use the Dragon's Shadow so that you have 2 invis dodges so as to not die. If you're playing a Warlock, Well of Radiance is very helpful for most of this, pretty much all of this dungeon actually, and as a Titan, using the Titan Bubble that has Weapons of Light. I don't remember what tree it is, but the Titan's Bubble for Weapons of Light will also help, similar to the Well of Radiance. Alright, now to the actual part of the dungeon with the fighting and the mechanics. So first you're going to enter a cave room, there's going to be golden spheres, you're in a tunnel, and there are tunnels off to the side. You're going to want to take out the thralls because they are, standard ads. Take them out so that you can fight the knights easier, and then you're going to go off into the side tunnels, and you're going to go kill the knights. Now, when you kill the knights, they will drop motes based on where you are standing. If you are standing in a light area, you'll have light tendrils around you, and when you kill a knight, whatever deals the final blow, wherever you are, it'll drop that kind of motes. So if you're in a light area, you'll have light tendrils. If you're in a dark area, you'll have dark tendrils around your screen. So you have to kill the knight strategically. They drop 3 motes whenever you kill a knight, and so you're going to want to kill 2 knights, and then pick them up, and you can hold 5 motes at a time. Whenever you have the 5 motes, you'll have a large mote in your hand that replaces your weapons, so you cannot use your weapons while you have this large mote. You're then going to want to go carry this mote over to the semicircle dishes with the large pillar of light or dark coming off of them, depending on whichever mote you're using. You're going to go to it, you're going to press your heavy attack, your character's going to slam the mote into the bank, if you will. It's going to go in there, and then you got to go kill 2 more knights of the other type. You can only hold motes of one type, so make sure that you don't cross-pollinate, if you will, so that you can go drop off the boats. After you do that, a door will open into the second room, and you're going to do pretty much the exact same thing. Take out the thralls, go fight the knights. You can plant a wither horde and then go hide in an area. It works really well, or you can go fight them however you wish to do that. The first area is more dark, the second area is more light, so just consider this as you are going through and fighting things. Alrighty, and after you have completed both of the first cave's rooms, you dropped off the light and the dark motes for each of them. You are now going to go to the Phalanx Echo encounter. You're going to follow the Kell Echo boss. He is going to continue to flee from you. He will be immune. You cannot hurt this dude. And you're going to follow him up. As you're jumping, look for the semicircles, because that's what you can use to tell where to jump. So just, jump to the next semicircle and get to the next semicircle, and that'll help you, map a path up. You can get up, and then you go onto a large version of the semicircles. You're gonna go there. You can do a rally banner if you guys need ammo. Chances are you will, or perhaps you won't if you were conserving them. But you can create a rally banner, and then to start the encounter, there's a little Toland orb in the middle. Just go run to the Toland orb, and it will start the encounter, and the Phalanx Echo will spawn. The Phalanx Echo is immune to all of your damage, so do not try to hurt him at this moment. The Phalanx Echo will spawn, and then a few seconds after that, some knights will spawn. For this one, you're going to have to do 2 light and 2 dark. So, you're going to go around getting into the right areas so that you can kill the knights. Make sure you're dealing with the scions, because it can get really nasty really quickly if you do not deal with them because of their duplications. After you finally get all 8 knights if you do it correctly, but you fill all 4... you use all 4 moat pillars, moat banks, whatever you want to call it. The boss's shield will go away. It'll give a little Q on the text thing, and then it is DPS time. Now, we were able to one-phase it. If your team is good, I just about guarantee that you can one-phase it. If you need a second phase, though, this is not a super difficult encounter. So you're going to want to throw your Oppressive Darkness, throw your Tether, all of those things, and then DPS the boss, stick a Wither Horde on him, murder him with the sword, do DPS however you like, and then after that you will be able to open a chest, and then to move on to the next area, step into the middle of the room. Now, once you do get to the DPS phase, I recommend if you're using a hunter like I was, or something similar, I recommend using the your oppressive darkness grenade first, hitting him with Witherhoard, your sword, all of that, or whatever you're using for DPS. Hit him, and then whenever the goblins spawn in, that is when I recommend throwing down your tether. And the reason for that is that the goblins will try to make him immune, so if you tether, hopefully that'll deter them. Also, it'll be easier to get a hold of them. Alright, now I feel is a good time to talk about the loot. This dungeon has some great loot, and you will get a piece of loot from this chest. And then you can get them from all of the other encounters. You're gonna get your loot here, and then you're going to go to the middle, and it will teleport you guys into the Wastelands. Alright, now you have arrived into the Wastelands. Now the Wastelands encounter is really a set of multiple smaller encounters in which you are going to take out Taken Blights. In here, you're gonna hop on your Sparrow right around the Wastelands, and you're gonna look for the different areas, and some of them will have Taken Blights. You have to go to all of them, take out the 3 Taken Blights on each of the locations, and then you'll be able to go to the next part. There is a secret chest in this location. In this place, you're gonna look for a set of almost like just like stone cubes and rectangles, and then you're gonna crouch under there to get the chest, and I do show getting that chest in this video. I did not get the loot from it because I've already gotten it this week. You can only get the loot from the chests once per week. The encounters you can get multiple times, as you saw. You can go get the secret chest, and then continue through. There will be invisible minotaurs. You are not required to defeat any of these minotaurs, but they will be there chasing you, shooting you. So if you do wish to shoot them, go ahead. Now, when you're riding around and you see a blight, you're gonna want to go towards that blight. There's gonna be dudes. There's gonna be hobgoblins up top. If you get inside of a blight, the hobgoblins can't shoot you. But if you're outside of it, you might want to take out a hobgoblin so that they don't snipe you dead. You're gonna take out the 3 blights, and make sure before you leave that area that you look for the Toll Die floating above you. You do need to activate that Toll Die, make it disappear before the way will be open for the next part. If you defeat all three blights on all 3 locations, and you don't actually hit the Toll Die and make him leave, you'll have to go find it from other ones so that you can actually move on. You will get a prompt saying the way is open, and then you are able to move on to the next area. You're going to go to the edges of the map. The edges are delineated by there's like fence posts almost. The edges are delineated by those fence posts. If you just follow the edge around, there's a platform up to stairs, and then there's a small crack that you can go through to get to the next encounter, which is the Hexahedron. Now it's time for the Hexahedron encounter. Now Hexahedron is a 6-sided cube, which is essentially what you are in. If you look up when you enter this, there is actually a cube with symbols of the 9, and you're essentially filling the sides of the cube with those symbols. The way to do that, you're going to go to the middle of the room, you're going to make that Toll and I leave, and then you're going to look at the 4 walls of the encounter, and there will be sand circles on the wall as well. You're going to look at those sand circles, and you're going to look and see which one now has the Toll and I. Whichever one it is, you're going to look down and you're going to see what the pillar is, whether it's light or dark, so that you know what kind of motes you need to get. You're then going to go kill the acolytes, take out the ads, and then shoot down the hobgoblins. Killing the hobgoblins seems to spawn the knights. kill the knights, and get the correct type of motes. Go drop those off at the Tolanai side, and it will teleport you to the next area. Once you have done 5 or 6, you will get teleported to the final room, where there are 2 Centurion Echo bosses. These bosses are, in my opinion, the easiest bosses of this dungeon. They are super easy. You just go in, pop some supers, use your heavy ammo, and they will be dead very quickly. You can kill the thralls, and then you get a loot drop, and then you need to head back to the Wasteland so that you can move on to the second to last encounter. You are now brought back to the Wasteland encounter. If you look ahead, you will see the Kell Echo final boss. He is still immune, and he's still teleporting away. You're going to hop on your Sparrow, just follow him to the right, avoid the thralls. You do not have to kill them. Just follow him all the way to the right. There will be another platform up to stairs, and then you will be able to go to the the second to last encounter. And now it is time for the Singularity encounter. The Singularity encounter is a large open area where you have to be careful, because if you fall, you will certainly die. This area consists of 3 large ribbons that go throughout the area. There are a bunch of smaller ribbons, those are just for decoration. There are many platforms where there will be taken vandal snipers and that you can hop on to move, and there will be almost double pyramids, if you will, that there will be enemies inside of, but you do not have to defeat any of the enemies in this encounter if you do not, if you so wish, if you do not want to defeat any of them. So when you go in, I recommend using the middle ribbon, but if you want to go on a different ribbon, or if you want to go to use the platforms, go for it. But I hop on my Sparrow and I use the middle ribbon, and you're just going to go down. If you want to go into the houses, I've heard them called bird houses. If you want to go into the houses, you can go fight the guys, that is fine, but it is just a bunch of enemies that just, you know, makes it a higher chance of you guys dying, but if you want to, go for it. I just skip past it, I ride down the ribbon will go through some of the houses, but it is fine, you can just keep going. There will be a point where you'll go through a house, and then at the other side of it, the ribbon will start doing a corkscrew, and you are unable to continue. At this point, you're not able to continue on your Sparrow or through the ribbons, so what you're going to have to do is hop off your Sparrow and go to the platform to the right, hop up there, kill that knight, and then you're going to follow up to the top of the house. You can fight the dudes, or you can just avoid them, but then you're going to keep going through, and you're going to go where there are more platforms, and you will have to jump using the platforms. And you're going to jump down there, there's going to be another house. You can fight all of the enemies in there, but if you don't want to, that is fine, just avoid them. We did end up killing the ones in the houses that we did have to go to. And then after that, you will be able to regroup with the ribbon. And this is where it splits into 2 parts. If you want to go on the platforms, you can go down. It is a super easy trek down to the next encounter. There will be a thing that'll pull the first person to get there up. I've had trouble getting the second and third to get there sometimes. You might just have to get pulled with joining allies. But if you do want to get the secret chest in this encounter, you're going to use the ribbon down. You're going to ride the ribbon. There are going to be some taken pushers, so be careful with that. But you're going to ride the ribbon all the way down to the final birdhouse. In that house, fight the enemies, and then there is a secret area. You're going to drop down there, you're going to follow the stairs down. There will be a chasm, a small chasm under it. If you look down, there's one of the Savathun eyes. Don't drop down, you're actually going to jump across. There's another platform that is well hid, I might say. You're going to hop across, follow that to a chest, and then just go back the way you came. Once you're back in the birdhouse, go back up top, and then you can go down, follow the ribbon, down to the next encounter, down to the boss fight. It is now time for the final boss fight for the Kell Echo encounter. Now, you just left Singularity, there are a bunch of thralls, just kill them, they won't spawn infinitely, so you can't use this for any exploits or anything. Then you're going to go up the stairs, you cannot spawn your sparrow, so you're just going to have to run through that hallway, and you will get teleported into the boss room. If there's anything you're going to want to use for DPS or anything, switch to that. Now would be a good time to do that. Then you can use your rally banner, and it is time to start with the Kell Echo encounter. Now, before you start, I will explain how this is going to work. So, at the three corners of the rooms, there are going to be 3 immune copies of the Kell Echo boss. These will be shooting you throughout this whole thing, so you have to be careful. In order to start it, you're going to go to the Toland Eye in the middle, and there will be knights and scions that spawn. You need to kill the knights and get motes based on the 3 pillars by the Kell Echo immune copies. Once you go and you take them to a pillar at one of the Kell Echoes and you slam it in there, that Kell Echo will go away and an ogre will spawn. Take out the ogre, move on to the next one, do that, take out the ogre, and then on the third one, when you put it in, you don't necessarily need to kill the ogre. You are just going to go to the middle and you will get teleported to DPS. Now you can actually damage the Kell Echo boss. You're going to go through one of those pink tunnels and you're going to drop into a hallway of sorts without a floor, but that does have multiple platforms. You're going to drop, if you have a hunter in your party, you're going to want them to throw their tether or their oppressive darkness grenade at the captain boss. If you have a warlock or a titan, they can use their supers as well, either where you spawn or up where the captain is. If you do it up where the captain is, you have to be careful, because this captain, like taken captains, has the wall of blight that he pushes at you, but because he is a boss, he has a much larger blight wall, and it sends you back to the front of the encounter, and if you've already pushed him back some, it sends you back a bit, just not all the way to the front. So you do want to be careful to avoid that. He does have a slam attack, So, but if you can go get the well at his feet and attack him with swords, if you have multiple people doing that, you can stagger him enough that he will not use his blight wall, but he will slam, so that will hurt. But if you have a well of radiance or a bubble, you can use that to heal and not take as much damage. You're going to fight him. If you want to fight him at range, go for it. Just be careful because of his blight wall that he will send at you. If you're staying in one place, you might get hit by that, so you're going to want to try to avoid that. The boss will continue to teleport through the hallway, going further into the hallway. You're going to continue shooting hobgoblins and DPSing the boss until he teleports to the final platform. You'll have a few more seconds to DPS him, and then he will teleport away. Once he has done this, you go to the back. There's a triangle glowing pink, another one of those portals. It will take you back into the main boss room, except this time with a different terrain configuration. The room looks different, but the mechanics are still the exact same. Kill the knights, get their motes, drop off the motes, making one Kell Echo immune copy vanish, spawning an ogre, kill the ogre, go kill more knights, and you're going to continue doing this and going back to the Kell Echo room hallway until you finally defeat the boss. If you have to wipe and do it multiple times, that is fine. We ended up taking multiple times to do it. But if you're, depending on the skill of your team, you can get it done in 1, 2, maybe 3 DPS phases, however long it takes you. Once the boss is finally dead, he will drop a loot piece, and then it will teleport you to a meeting with an Emissary of the Nine, where they will give you the answer to the question you've been asking, which is, what is the nature of the darkness? And then there will be a chest that will open. You can loot that chest, and you have done it. You have completed the Prophecy Dungeon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Remember that we have a Discord server that you can join, chat with us, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.